Look at Finance is underwritten by Janney Montgomery Scott, trusted advisors for generations.
Welcome back with our Look at Finance with First Vice President of Janney Montgomery Scott, Steve Carlton.
Hi, Carrie. Nice to be here.
Hi, great to see you tonight. Well, we have some big news with the federal government opening. We talked a little bit about that earlier in the show. We're going to get to that. But first, we need to talk about the market. Significant close.
Some good news, finally. And all the challenges that we've been going through the last 6 weeks really surprised a lot of people. The S&P 500, which is one of the indexes that we watch on the news and people see just a few minutes ago, it closed at an all-time high. And it surprised people because this morning, Goldman Sachs earnings weren't quite what we expected. IBM missed and it was down about 6% today, which was bad news and difficult, not what a lot of people had expected. But Google came out after the close, beat on its earnings, and I think there's a lot of people really looking for positive news. They're looking to get past these challenges, and I think the market's ready to move forward. And so we're in the middle of this earnings season. A lot of stocks are going to come out with earnings the next week, and that's what we're really focused on right now.
Okay, so my 401k, I haven't looked at the third quarter earnings yet. Should I be nervous about that in light of everything going on?
You're one of those people that you just don't open the envelope.
I'm afraid.
Well, you're not alone, but I encourage you to open it because I think more than likely you're going to have some good news. There's a lot of different indexes. It depends how diversified you are, whether you have bonds, whether you're in emerging markets and international. But I think overall, most people are pleasantly surprised. The markets have done much better than anticipated. We're coming towards the end of the year, and things aren't looking nearly as bad and as ominous as we thought maybe even 6 weeks ago. So, yeah, I would say open it, but I think you'll be okay. Yeah, I think there's some good news there.
So how does this all relate back to the federal government's reopening? The Washington impasse, is it over?
Some things never change, right? It's been difficult for everybody in this nation to watch how unable they've been to find a way to compromise, some way to find in the middle. And unfortunately, I think both sides are not overly pleased with this compromise because it's not been resolved. The debt ceiling's been raised, but it's only been pushed back just far enough that we're going to be back into talking about this in December and January again. So it's not over. It's not resolved. What we really need to do is both sides have to come together. They have to listen to the American public and balance these things and find some way to come together. So no, we're not out of the woods yet by any means.
Well, in our area, the Tri-County area, Saratoga, Warren, Washington counties, we're seeing some exciting developments. I mean, we have the wine bar that's opening up in Glens Falls. We have a new hotel coming to Lake George, Saratoga. I mean, big news. We're talking about it all night tonight. The Bowtie Theater that's going to be opening downtown, and one in Wilton. So there's really a lot of things that are happening in our area. Condé Nast, I think we've mentioned tonight in tonight's news, awarding 4 of our hotels as the top in the top 20 in the country. So really, we do have some exciting things going on in this area.
It's for this area is being the size that we are, we hit way above our belt. I mean, the positive news, the things that are going on, what happened in Washington D.C. I don't think really has had as much effect on the local economy as people had expected. There's so many positive things that are going on out there, and when I just look outside our doors here, Look TV in Saratoga, there's so much going on. There's so much building, the hotels like you mentioned, the Bowtie Cinema. It's kind of like the icing on the cake, the top. It really shows how diverse and dynamic our economy is. The bookstore that's just across the street here. We have such an eclectic mix of businesses. We've got the schools, the universities, the hotels coming in. So these are all really good positive signs because sometimes, there's a disconnect. And what happens in, upstate New York and the Tri-County area isn't always what's happening in Washington, isn't always what's happening in other parts of the country. So we're very, very fortunate. We have some amazing news, and you're going to have a good show tonight by the sounds of it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. You'll have to hit it at some point over the next
wait.
week or so.
Oh my gosh, because I used to have to drive down to Albany or Clifton Park to see that. Now we've got a world-class cinema right in Saratoga, and I was watching the news last night, Sonny talking about it being pedestrian. It's true. Everybody in Saratoga now, you can pretty much have anything you want within walking distance. So these are good signs.
What do you see as far as the theater in downtown Saratoga? What kind of an economic boom, do you think that'll, how will that impact?
It's a good question because somebody asked me that earlier today, and we were talking about, different businesses enhancing what Saratoga has to offer. So it's not necessarily that the movie theater is going to have a dramatic effect on earnings and really drive revenue for the city. But it's one more thing. When you have a civic center attracting all these people from all over the country to come here and to be able to go see a theater, go to see a movie, you know, being able to have really great restaurants, like you said, the great hotels, the lodges, the places they can come to stay. This is a city that offers so much. You know, the Racino, there's just everything here. The track during the summer. So that diversity in our economy lends so well to the overall, you know, feel of the city. So yeah, I think what's happening in Glens Falls and Lake George, everybody's benefiting from these things that are going on. Like we've talked about with, you know, the chip plant in Malta. These are really good positive news. So although we've been a little bit exhausted by all the political, you know, stuff that's gone on, if we just sit back a little bit, we've got a lot to be thankful for.
We're really in a great spot.
Yeah, we really are. Where else would you rather live? This is great here.
It's not just a summer place to be anymore, it seems, as we're hearing in various different stories by different officials. You had an interesting interview earlier this week.
Oh,
Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, that's a great point. We had, you know, we were so much talk about what was going on in Washington. We said, let's bring somebody world-class in that really has an eye and a pulse on what's going on. And so we brought Robert Carey in from First Trust. And Robert's a world-renowned economist, or you know, he's a market strategist. And we came and brought him in the studio and said, talk to us a little bit what to expect for the third quarter, the next year. You know, what do you think about what's going on in Washington? So we can actually see the video online through looktvonline.com and see what we talked about. It's about 6 minutes long, 5-6 minutes long. But if you're curious to see how things are looking for the next 6 months, this is a great interview. And this is a guy that's on, you know, CNBC, he's on Bloomberg. He's been, you know, quoted in the Wall Street Journal. So this is a guy that, having somebody like that come to Saratoga to Look TV was great to interview him.
We were definitely fortunate.
Yeah, it was good. A lot of fun.
Okay, excellent. Steve Carlton, First Vice President of Janney Montgomery Scott with our Look at Finance.
Thanks, Carrie.
Thanks so much. And to see this interview again, you can head over to our website at looktvonline.com. And we'll be right back.
Good.
How long was that?
How was the time?
I'm hoping